All right, welcome back to Missing Persons TV. I'm Brian Ladd with my co-host Deborah. Tonight we're going to be covering three cases, and they are as follows. Case number 569, Tika Lewis, 570, Jessie Foster, and 571, Mark Davis. We just did this show earlier about the Adji Desir and Haleigh Cummings update, so we got that out of the way. So basically all we have to do tonight is we're going to be doing these three cases, and that'll be it. So let's get things started. First case number is 569, Tika Lewis. The case was requested to be opened back in March 16th of 2007. I think it was by Tony. The dream drawings were done on December 24th of 2007. And Deborah, what kind of information do we have for Tika?
Tika Lewis has been missing since January 23rd of 1999 from Tacoma, Washington. Her date of birth is July 4th, 1996. She was 2 years old at the time that she went missing. She would be 13 years old this July.
Okay.
3 feet tall, 35 pounds at the time that she went missing. Tika is multiracial. She's African American and Caucasian and Native American. She has black hair and brown eyes, large size birthmark on her left buttock, and red natural highlights in her hair. She has patches of light discoloration on her face, and she also has dimples and pierced ears. She was last seen wearing a green Tweety Bird sweatshirt, white sweatpants, and black and white Air Jordan sneakers. Her hair was pulled into pigtails. She does have a medical condition. She has asthma and requires medical care for that. And she also needs to use an inhaler and sometimes a ventilator for that. She did receive care in 1999, shortly before she went missing, at the Indian Health Practitioners Clinic in Washington State. There is a nationwide clinic for them, though. Then they're all linked together for the Native Americans. So that may be a place, you know, I would think to be looking, if they haven't yet, to see if she's had medical care.
Okay, so the picture we have is definitely outdated. Did they do age progression? Do we know?
Yes, there's an age progression to 13 years old here.
Okay.
I'll give you that in Skype here. The last time that Tika was seen, she was with her family, actually quite a bit of the family, about a dozen of them. They were out bowling for the night at New Frontier Lanes, and that's on Center Street in Tacoma, Washington. And she was standing a few feet from her family and about 6 feet from the exit of the bowling alley at the time that they turned for a second, and Tika was gone. They never saw her again after that. So, you know, here's a case where she's just a few feet from her family and she's snatched. You know, that's what they say has happened to Tika. She did have a purse with her that day. She was 2 years old, but she was carrying a purse. It was clear with a fish design on it and a shoulder strap. And in her purse, she had Starburst candy. They extensively searched the area, but didn't come up with any clues. There was a witness there by the bowling alley that told the authorities that there was a maroon-colored Pontiac Grand Am that sped out of the parking lot that night. They say that it was most likely a 4-door model, not 2 doors, and possibly a late 1980s or early 1990s model, dark tinted windows and a large spoiler on it. There was another witness that said that there was an unidentified Caucasian man that may have followed a child to an alley near the bowling alley. They describe him as being in his 30s with shoulder-length brown hair, facial pockmarks, a mustache, and a large nose. They don't know if the vehicle or this unidentified man are connected to Tika going missing. Her family pushed and supported for the Tika Lewis bill in Washington State shortly after she went missing. This bill being signed into a law created a new task force for missing and exploited children. And what it did was it allowed the state patrol in the state of Washington to work more closely with the local authorities searching for missing children or exploited children. There were possible sightings of Tika in New Hampshire several years after she went missing, accompanied by a Caucasian woman with dyed blonde hair. They weren't able to confirm these. Tika's biological father was incarcerated at the time that she went missing, and he is ruled out as a suspect. They did find a body in Kansas City, Missouri in April of 2001. It was a headless body of a young African-American girl. And at the time that they found the remains of that young girl, Tika had been missing for more than 2 years. Sadly, people do some really awful things, and I don't understand it, but they located the head about 100 yards from the body in a garbage bag. This is just horrible. This turned out, they did DNA testing on Tika's relatives the next month, and the results were negative, so that was not Tika.
Do we know who it was?
They ended up identifying that,
okay,
the remains 4 years after they were found. Okay. And it turned out that it was someone named Erica Michelle Maria Green, and she was a 3-year-old who had never been reported missing. So what do you have on this case?
Thank you, Deborah. Question real quick. You said the child needed medication at the time, and that was for asthma?
Right.
Okay.
She needs to use an inhaler, sometimes a ventilator, and she had received medical care shortly before she went missing for it.
Do children outgrow that, or is that the type that stays with them their entire life?
I think that there's different types of asthma. Okay. I think it can be outgrown. You can also have an onset of asthma when you're an adult, when you never had the problem before. So I think that's a little hard to say.
Okay. All right, thank you. I think this case is another case of human trafficking, and let me tell you why. The first stream drawing that was completed on December 24th of 2007 says the child is in Thailand. Thailand was spelled wrong, but I'm almost certain it says Thailand. USA flag 29 South, safe, Chang Valley, and then the number 49882, and then the letters TA, Tango Alpha. That looks like some type of store or something like that, and then it actually may be in Thailand. I think we did some research on this too, and a lot of this information did seem to match up. The second one is a drawing of a woman, I believe. If a woman, I mean, people don't really think that women can be child molesters, but they're in the same category, even though they're women. It says Seattle Airport, November 8th, works at church, child molester. Then the letters IN, Indian November. Organized crime, thick glasses, and also blue contacts, and has a tattoo. Now, this may be a man, but to me it looks like a woman. I'm not exactly sure, but to me it looks like a woman. There's the drawings there. It's a pretty detailed drawing of the location of the tattoo and actually what the tattoo is. And so what I'm thinking is maybe this child was actually smuggled out of the country. For what reason, I don't know, especially at that age. But I think it was definitely human trafficking, and it could be possible that this child right now, or a young girl, is still in Thailand. That's at least what I have. There was an email here from Anne, not too much in it, and then the only thing after that was your age progression photo that I put up here on the website. So it is up there. I think they did a really good job on the age progression. That to me, that would be what she would look like. I mean, I know a lot of times age progression does have a lot of problems, because that's what everybody's looking for now, and it turns out that it's not what they look like. But that looks like a very good job that they did. The FBI did that, right? Generally, they do all that.
I'm not sure. In most cases, it is done through the FBI.
Okay. So all I can say in this one, I mean, it would be a redo into a little more investigation on this. because I do remember something about this Chang Valley actually being in place, and it's not posted in the case file. But like I said, it's another. This is just what the dream drawings are saying, but it could definitely be more of human trafficking. We just don't, we don't really think that it happens in the United States. We don't really pay too much attention to it. But it goes on despite what we think. I mean, it goes on behind closed doors, and a lot of it is trafficking in women, and people that older or gentlemen are able to take advantage of through a lot of different ways, manipulation and stuff. And I think that definitely happened in the Natalee Holloway case. Like I've been saying for a long time, I do think that Natalee Holloway is out of the country and alive, despite whatever videos or whatever else is out there on that case. Anything else we have to put out for Tika? We will do a redo. The cases in the forums. There's a link to it. I think there is. If there's not, we'll get it up. But it is in the forums. Correct, Deborah?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for Tika?
I don't have anything else for Tika.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Moving on to case number 570. This case was requested to be open on March 16th of 2007. The missing person's name is Jessie Foster, and the request came in from Glendine Grant, which is her mother. And fortunately, we actually have Glendine on the phone with us right now, and she'll give us some information as far as what she knows about what happened to Jessie. Or actually, her full name is Jessica Edith Louise Foster. Is that correct, Glendine?
That's right.
Okay, so this is Glendine Grant, and welcome, and it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you for being with us. Can you just give us just a quick detail of what reports say happened, where and how and why, or whatever reports say that happened to Jessie?
Well, Jessie has been. We're from Canada, and Jessie has been living down in North Las Vegas, and she's been living down there for 10 months, keeping in contact with her family. She was getting ready to come back to Canada to go to a stepsister's wedding, and she told her sister she talked to her the next day, and we've never heard from Jessie since. That was over 3 years ago now. That was on March 29th, March 29th of 2006. Now, the last time we heard from her was on the 28th, and that was when she talked to her older sister about at least a dozen times while they were making plans for this trip to come back so that they could go to this wedding. After Jessie went missing, I even received a card in the mail that was Jessie's insurance for her car for the month, because she had already paid for it. So we knew that she was, we knew that she was definitely planning on coming back. And when she did go missing, we hired a private investigator who found out all kinds of horrific things that we had no idea about. He had found out that Jessie had, there was hospital records that Jessie had been beaten, and there was a woman who said Jessie was being forced to work at an escort agency, and she had seen Jessie with bruises, and Jessie had told her she was afraid. Then we found out that Jessie had been arrested for solicitation of prostitution, and that the man that we thought was her fiancé, Peter Todd, was known to the police to have no legal income, to have lots of money, houses, and cars, and yet they don't question any of this. They're on record being interviewed by newspapers and radios about Jessie, and the Public Information Officer Timothy Bedwell from North Las Vegas has been quoted as saying that they know that he has no legal income, yet they still let him, live high and fancy. And and they also there's also records of him having been married to another woman who was a known prostitute, and there's also witnesses to say that Jessie had been afraid of this woman. We thought it was out of jealousy. Both Jessie and Peter told us that if Jessie was home alone, she wouldn't answer the door for fear that Trish was on the other side. And she has not been forthright in talking to us or coming to us with any kind of information or help. She's avoided us, actually, in every way, shape, and form. And so through all the investigation, people that have been helping us different kind of task forces, like the one that used to be in Las Vegas called Atlas, which is the Human Trafficking Task Force. They've all told me that they are very certain that Jessie is a victim of human trafficking, and that she has likely been taken somewhere else. Where is the question? We don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
And that's ever since you contacted me back in March of 2007. We've worked together, and you've also worked with Gail, Travis, and Reggie. We have a lot of information posted on this case. Anything else? Any other details?
Well, the one thing that I do appreciate is, all the help that I do get keeping Jessie's story in the news, because we just on Friday, had E! Entertainment here at our house up in Canada interviewing us for a 2-hour documentary they're doing called Vanished. It's also going to include other missing women. Jennifer Tessy is one of them. Her and her dad, Drew, and I were in communication quite often. Every time I send out an email, he responds personally back to me. He's always, here he's going through the exact same thing as me, even just for a few months longer than me, and he gives me a lot of strength just with all of his. He just keeps me boosted up with his talk. He's a very strong man. He emailed me when I sent out an email saying that Jessie's story was going to be told on that. He emailed me back and said that so was Jennifer's. So it made me happy, because I know that they believe that Jennifer's case is likely a human trafficking case, and that Jennifer is likely alive. I've seen news stories where Jennifer's mother has been quoted on the news saying that she feels her daughter alive, and I can feel that she feels it just as strongly as I do for Jessie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get really confident that this big, terrible case, this human trafficking crime, is getting more publicity. More people are hearing about it. You mentioned just a bit ago that people in the United States still don't even think that it's happening here, and you are so right. I'm in Canada, but my job as an internet technician is with an American company, and from time to time when I am talking to customers, I don't even know how it comes about, but once in a while Jessie's story comes up, and I know it shouldn't. I am at work at the time, but just yesterday, a fellow that I talked to said those exact words. He said, I had no idea human trafficking happened here in the United States. And I said, and sadly enough, neither do most people. And, I think myself, if I was not living this terrible nightmare, I would prefer to think that human trafficking was not happening all around me also, because it would make you feel a lot safer. But
Yeah.
if you understood some of the ways human trafficking affects people and the reasons that they're taken and things that can happen, there's no way you want to assume that can be happening in your neighborhood.
I don't think it's denial. A lot of times, it's the fact is we're not aware of it. We just because when these people go missing, most of the time they're young adults, and we think that they just left on their own means, so they don't realize what situation they were put into or made to do.
That's right. And that was
right.
the biggest thing we had to face in the beginning.
Right.
We were told, well, why do we think that our kid went down to Las Vegas? She was obviously blinded by the lights and wooed by the money.
You know how many people go to Las Vegas every day? Okay.
Exactly. And
but there's people there that they prey on the vulnerable. That's what I'm saying. This fits the bill for a missing or trafficking case.
Jessie was vulnerable, but Jessie was not wooed by money. Jessie at the age of 19 had over $20,000 in the bank from a settlement when she was hit by a car in grade 11.
Mm-hmm.
The guy ran a red light, hit her in a crosslight walk when she had a walk signal right out of school in a school zone. And as soon as she turned 19, she got a very large settlement that, was quite a bit of money to her. It paid off legal fees, bought her a car, and still left her several thousands of dollars. So people don't understand that when Jessie went missing, she still had well over $10,000 in the bank that she had earmarked for herself to go to college. She didn't need to go down to another country and do illegal activities because she needed money. She didn't need money. Jessie had never even been arrested in her entire life or even brought home by the police as a teenager in trouble. So, she obviously to go to another country and get arrested and taken to jail and still be something that was worse for her than phoning us and telling us that happened. You know, can you imagine how scared she must have been about, you know, if she did call us? Because in my opinion, my own child would have been so scared of being in a jail, being with probably some rough people in there, knowing that she was going to have to face a court and a judge, and who knows what out of that. My kids were raised to obey the law. I worked in security for many years. They grew up thinking, many times I had them fooled into thinking there was cameras, just keeping an eye on them while I was at work. My kids understand about the law. They understand about, you know, having to pay the society for what you do. And for Jessie, she was one of my most innocent children. People don't understand that, you know. Those are the types of girls that make the best victims. They're too afraid to say anything. Jessie would never have wanted to think of us as to having, being disappointed. And I know that's something else that they prey on these girls, of telling them, you know, how everybody's going to hate them, everybody's going to think what they're doing is terrible. Sometimes they're beaten and drugged.
Okay.
And ultimately, as soon as you fight them, you just go missing.
All right, thank you. Let's get to the case then, and see what we've done so far. First, if you guys have not visited jessiefoster.ca, please do so. That's JESSICAFOSTER.ca, correct?
It's Jessie Foster, so it's JESSIE-FOSTER.ca.
Okay, sorry about that. The links are on the case file, and there's extensive work done on this. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 shows on this, along with Gail St. John, Reginald Lewis, and Travis Sanders. And we've also linked this case to Angela Marie Finger. Is that correct, Deborah? The possibility of this case may be related to another missing person?
Yes,
Okay.
Angela Marie Finger is missing from Las Vegas within the same time frame that Jessie is.
And I think
within a few months of her.
And then we opened the cases, and I think there's a lot of similar details. We covered that before, so let's go into detail right now of this case. So anyways, Glendine, you asked the case to be opened on March 16th of 07, and I'm really sorry. I wrote you back, I think, right away saying I added it to the pending list, and I did not get to it till 7 months later. But I appreciate you being patient. It was open December 24th. I think was that when I emailed you when it was open, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I did get it open. The first stream drawing says Carson City truck stop, Harold Drew. Now I think that could be a name. Black hair 22, and then the number 497. The second dream drawing says 44. And then what it said at the time, this was back on December 24th of 07, says I believe that Jessica is alive and could be living in Carson City, Nevada. Now I think we looked into this, and I don't think that we found anything that could possibly be related to a Harold Drew. As far as Carson City, Nevada, that is very close to Las Vegas, so that would be a possibility. Then you wrote back on February 29th of 2008, awaiting DNA tests on some other people that were found deceased, I believe. Do you remember that? This has something to do with the Montel Williams show too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Montel Williams show did their first story with Jessie's case in 2007, and then they did a second one in 2008.
Okay,
and then
this would be the second one.
In 2007, we had DNA on a Jane that was being tested against the Jane Doe that was found in Kilgore.
Okay. Yeah, let me bring that up. It must be, there's a lot of, you're waiting on a lot of DNA tests from a lot of people. Apparently they're finding there was some mass graves out there, and it was Nevada, correct?
That's right.
There
was several. They've had a couple of ground searches in Nevada, in the deserts, in Nevada, in the North Desert. We've had a couple of other women's remains were found in the desert out in Henderson, and we had to wait through autopsies. And even when the thing, when they found all of those different people's bodies and remains in Albuquerque, and Jessie's DNA got sent there, we sit here and we wait, and well, I guess you can say I can get through them easier each time, because each time I'm more convinced that it's not Jessie.
Right.
And by the time they tell me that it's not Jessie, I'm just literally waiting for them to confirm what I'm believing in my heart.
Right. Well, I don't want to give you any false hope, but I think all the time I've been working on this case, we've talked about it.
There has been no false hope given to me.
Okay.
Anything that I believe that Jessie's alive. I have believed Jessie's alive in my heart from the entire start of this whole situation. I have also believed that, that I will find her. That can either mean that the mother's heart knows, or God is keeping me from the terrible truth until I have some truth. Because without truth, I'll never give up looking for Jessie, and I will never assume that Jessie is dead without proof.
Okay.
And
all right. Let's continue on in the case then. There's information March, April, May 21st of 08. A lot of stuff between you and me that was posted. You set up a now public account for under Jessie's mom, Glendine. Is that before you had the jessiefoster.ca?
No, Jessie Foster.
Okay, yeah, it was still there. Okay,
was set up,
you're right.
Right at the beginning, by April.
Okay. The trust fund that was set up for her, is that still active?
Well,
Because I've got an account.
Somebody told me that it's not active, and I don't know why. And I went to
Okay.
I made an appointment to go see them at the bank.
Okay. Should we keep that up there?
Yes, let's keep it up there.
Okay.
Because I think the person that was trying to deposit it may have just not been able to access it from the United States. So I'm going to go and see what I can do on that.
Okay. And if you guys want to donate to the trust fund or whatever, once again, it's jessiefoster.ca, and I'm going to say that again since I messed up. It's JESSIEFOSTER.ca. The link is on the website, and it's on all the other pages too. It's a good website. There's a lot of information there. If you spend the time and look, there's a lot. Glendine's been doing an awful lot of work through these years, and most of the stuff is there. She's been posting on Facebook and a lot of other things too. Let's go on. And I think there's some questions. You guys can read the case file. I'm just going down it in order. And then there was an update on sex crime survivors update. Something with the Montel Williams show again. My gosh, Glendine, look at all these websites you set up. That's all in the case file too. I'm just going back to this old stuff. Blogspot, Facebook, now public. Jessie Foster CA, Crimes Forum, members at now public. Okay, then we did a radio show. Actually, we did a TV show. Actually, show number 15 was dedicated to this too. That was February 17th of this year. And then I've done a dream drawing the next night, February 28th, and what it says is April 17th, 2009, Mexico. Now that date is come and gone.
That's right. Now that was the date that the E-Entertainment interview ended up being on.
Yeah, but I don't think that was it.
Had anything to do with Mexico,
I don't think it.
Or they mean that it's going to be aired in Mexico and.
I don't know. Maybe it just didn't happen because I don't think that has anything to do with it. But I do know about the interview, but it says Mexico. I think what we've done is after we talked that one time, we did email pictures and send pictures down to the border crossings in Mexico. And as far as this case here goes, I think there's a good possibility that maybe she is being held in Mexico. For whatever reason or another. It does happen all the time. We just don't want to. I guess I guess it's more ignorance to trafficking because we really don't know. It's not really reported on too much because not too many reporters actually get into that type of undercover work in exposing these crimes because I think a lot of them are controlled by mafia crime families and stuff like that. I mean,
exactly. And not only that, but a lot of high officials are involved in human trafficking. And if people don't want to believe me, they don't have to, but they can certainly look up the Johnny Gosch case and they will see.
Right, you can.
Back in the 80s, and you can see that there has been FBI, CIA, lieutenant colonels, the people involved in that case. It's mind-boggling. It scares me. Every time I read more about that case, I have to close it off and just let my mind relax for a while because it's so unbelievably scary and true, which makes it even more frightening.
Well, they treat this just like cocaine. Women, even men and children are a commodity. They're bought and sold, and it's really a supply-demand issue. We really need to get rid of that demand too. And the people doing the smuggling, they're not idiots. They're business people. They have the connections. They have the payoffs. They pay off whoever they need to do. This is a logistic operation or whatever. They know what they're doing. That's how they don't get caught. The way
and the people that they're doing it for, the ones that have the demand that they're supplying for, have so much money that they can. And there are people who sometimes they do go to jail, and they make it out. That's it. And they make it out.
Well, you think about it. If I'm a millionaire or billionaire in Mexico, and I'm a pervert, and I want I want to get a girl down here, and I get in trouble or something. Well, I own the cops. I own the legal system. Throw me in jail for PR reasons, and I go out the back door. I mean, it's kind of reminds me of Portugal in the Madeleine McCann case. But let's keep moving on. Okay, so we did that. We sent out the flyers. We did that. There was more work done. Then actually in November 3rd of 2006. Okay, this was open before my case. This is when we worked with. That can't be it. Did we work with Gail? Did you work with Gail before you met me? I guess so.
I think I emailed Gail because I had emailed her.
Okay, this has got to be it. This has got to be 2008. I'm sorry. It says on what I'm actually looking at the teamwork cases. If you guys are actually viewing the case file right now, if you click to the top where it says teamwork case, it'll actually take you to the teamwork case that we've done. So yeah, it has to be 2008. We did a radio show on this, and then I think I took notes from Gail. Those notes are up there. Excuse the bad handwriting, but it says, do you remember, you were on the phone, I believe, with us. Do you remember what I'm talking about? It says Barham in Texas, long straight hair, mechanic.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Remember the Harrison, California?
Yeah, that's when we're talking about California.
Brother knows what. Yeah, brother knows what happened. What happened to Jessie. And now New Jersey, because I remember we were getting she was all over the country. Maybe she was in New Jersey, maybe she was in New York, for some reason, whenever. Okay, and I have those pictures too. All those pictures that we got of her, they are posted on the website. If they're not, I'll fix it. That was on November 26th. And then there was a news article posted, new leads in missing woman case, and this has something to do with a psychic that we're not familiar of. Do you remember that?
That was the psychic from down in Newfoundland in Canada. Her name's Shelley Stokes.
Okay.
And she's the one that she talked to Frank Mahoney from the Nevada Center for Missing Loved Ones, and they did 2 ground searches from some information that she gave them. Okay.
None of that turned out to be anything.
Well, when she first told us about these, she said, I can't guarantee that it's even Jessie that's coming to me, but I can certainly tell you that you're going to find something. And then ultimately what they did find was they found some animal bones, so it wasn't even...
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. Actually, I hate that. That's good.
Yeah.
We did show number 15. That's posted. That was done on February 17th of 2009. Show number 16, which was on the very next day, actually, we did a human trafficking show with me and Deborah. Right, Deborah? We discussed a bunch of information about human trafficking and a lot of stuff we're not bringing up tonight, but we did bring in. We brought out a lot of information that I had no idea of some of the stuff that goes on. And if you guys don't, if you guys want more information, you can go to, I believe, CIA.gov, and there's a lot of information posted there as far as statistics and stuff like that goes on with human trafficking. And then on the 25th of February, there's more notes here. So we did something. It says notes from Gail, Spanish-speaking country in an island. Remember the White Beach, and we were looking on Google Earth for that, Glendine.
Yeah.
So, and then it says shallow area for 1/2 mile cliffs, and those were the notes there. And that's all. I think that's where we left off.
That probably was actually.
And that was Mexico, I believe.
Because the next time I talked to you guys, it was when I was talking with Gail, and it was not. It was on Gail's show.
Okay.
Let me see if I can
Yeah. So that's all I have on this on this case. As far as I know, I think we did some private work too. Let's see. I'm waiting on my computer right now. But there's a good possibility that she's still she's in Mexico now, and maybe she did go to New York or New Jersey or wherever else that some people were saying, including myself.
Yeah, she could be anywhere. That's the thing about this case and about any human trafficking cases. There's just absolutely no way for anyone to know where they are. That's why it's important to keep their names and faces out there, simply because if you, they're being used for certain purposes. That means that people are